Good. Okay, so next up we have Keith, who is showing off his planet generator. So give it up for Keith.
Yay! Hi again, everyone. It's been some time. There's all my links to social media stuff. Twitch will be coming back at some point during January, and Twitter I'm always on, and Itch.io is where I'm posting things for Planet Generator. So it was Prop Jam over the last week or so, which is a procedure-generated game jam where you make something that makes something. And the theme this year was renewal, and I took that as an opportunity to revisit an old project. So this is a picture I made for the house's portrait gallery, and it was using an old planet generator that I made around this time last year. So I looked at it and said, I'm going to make an interactive version of it, because the last one I made wasn't very interactive. For those who didn't see it last time, it runs on a Conway polyhedron notation generator, which is a lot of mouthfuls, but you take a polyhedron, you run the operations over it, and you make new shapes out of it, which generate new faces. The main one I'm looking at, though, is chamfer, which is you take the edges, you cut them in, and you make new shapes out of them. And when it's done to a dodecahedron, which is the 12-sided shape made of pentagons, you get that. Do it once, you get that shape. You do it twice, you get that shape. You do it 3 times, you get that shape. Which means that over the course of the day, you start with this, which is a rotating football. If you then put vertex colors over it, you get very fancy looking shapes like that. And if you can edit it at runtime, which is what I built this version to do, you can start changing the colors. To make it all fine and dandy, you then quadrangulate every single one of the edges, and you use trilinear interpolation to distort a set of meshes you make in Blender to make ridges and mountains. And then you mix the two together, and you have nice smooth edges over your vertices because you've interpolated where your vertex colors are. Then you put biomes, and you put 16 different textures onto each of them. Give yourself a lot of ability to make lots of more textures in the future. And you end up with a nice final product that looks like that, which, if I'm lucky, will be running here. I'm speeding through it because I'm mindful of trying to stay under a 5-minute length of time. But hopefully it's going to start generating a planet for us right now. If it's nice to us, that is. There we go. So it's building these meshes one at a time. It's taking its time because it has to build each one of these beats of meshes from scratch. They aren't uniform hexagons or pentagons. They are made out of 6 component different meshes each, except for the pentagons made out of 5. And then each one has the same texture, but the texture itself is very complicated. It's made out of 9 texture arrays, each of which has 16 sets of UVs that are properly subdivided. We have this nice planet. We can zoom around it, we can change the lighting around it. And if we zoom in, change the temperature of the planet, as well as the moisture level. We can do that for each of these and see its nice and smooth edges between them. I can make this one also a desert, and this one a desert. You can see that it's decided to put a fade between them there. Raise the temperature, raise the altitude and lower the altitude. And this is what I made over the past week or so. And yeah, the plan for this will be to make a space trading game or a space exploration game, or making a 4X that works on an entire radial grid. So instead of just going left and right, you can go north and south as well. The Prop Jam entries, we got about 260 this year. So I encourage people to check it out, be it one of the most recently finished jams on Itch.io. Aside from that, any questions?
What do the numbers and the letters mean?
So that's a split for the 16 different textures I've got for each of the textures, for each of the planets. So each one is a split that I could then get an artist to do nice tiling for. The idea will be that I can break up each of them so it won't look exactly monotonous.
Yeah.
And this is a texture lining system so that I can look at it and go, yep, all the white dots are connected together. They're all rotated at random angles. It will look about right.
Mm. So it's just a placeholder for now, just for you?
Just placeholder for UV placing. All good?